Hi guys, my name is Dr. Rocker and today I'll show you how to draw the Goblin Slayer. So grab a pencil and a piece of paper to draw along, cause it's time to draw, my friends!
And we start right off with a line for the middle of the chest. I'm using also a little bit of perspective right there. You can see the line for the shoulders is coming towards us and also the line of the hips. I'm drawing the Goblin Slayer for you guys today. The Goblin Slayer is a great character, but I draw him more bulky than he usually is. Because that's my thing. I'll draw the whole Goblin Slayer in my style. First, I will go ahead and draw him, except from the bulkiness, I will draw him as he belongs and as I was able to see from reference how all the details should look. And then I will go ahead and do a little bit more of my own stuff. But like I said, it's already a little bit different because I'm doing him more bulky. He's not that bulky in the TV show. You can see we've already drawn in the arms. The right hand is fairly easy. They're mainly just the finger and the thumb, and everything else is just some details. And that's the actual middle of the chest. The helpline was just the thing in the middle of the structure, if you know what I mean. But this is the front middle. Here we draw the belt. It's always easier to draw in a belt, even if he doesn't have one. This is the chest, where the muscles from the stomach would be. And I also always draw the underwear, because then it's easier to see where everything belongs. He's standing there in a pretty cool pose. Later you will see he's looking down at a monster he just slew? Yes, I think that's the right word. Legs are pretty simple, and here we have the shoulder, and that's where the head needs to be. I'm starting off with a line for the middle of the face, and then I draw the head around the line. And here we draw the left hand holding the sword. The left hand is also the one where the little shield is attached, but you will see that later. And yeah, the body structure, like I said earlier, is way more bulky than the original, but I think he looks badass that way. And you know me, I like to do badass drawings. Okay, what else can I tell you about the pose? There's a little bit of foreshortening towards the left arm, especially to be seen on the chest. The right chest is way bigger than the left one. I'm already cleaning up, so all the help lines are gone. Then it's not as much confusing as it was. And yeah, you should also do that all the time, because sometimes, yeah, like I said, you will get confused. It's just too much going on in a drawing like that. Now we are already at some details, drawing in some fingers, and yeah, that's a very easy hand. He's just holding the sword. Make sure to draw the handle before, at least with some help lines, draw the handle of the sword or the gun or whatever you are drawing, because when you're just drawing the hand or a fist and then draw in a handle from a sword or a gun, it looks off. You really have to be aware that there's something in the space, in the fingers. Yeah, that's the sword. And of course, you need to draw the sword through the head, because if you leave out the head and then your pencil is touching the paper again on the other side of the head, there's, even if it's just off for 1 millimeter, you might see it. That's a very, very bad mistake. You wouldn't be happy with that one. Yeah, about all the muscle groups, you don't have to draw in too many of those, just so you are sure that everything is where it belongs, because there will not be many muscles to be seen, because he's very heavily armored. It's a very armored character, but a very cool armor, lots of details you will see later on. I really like this character, and I actually also really like the TV show. I don't know if you have seen it. It's a few years old. I don't know if they are continuing. I only have seen one season, but to my knowledge there isn't a second one. I don't know. But it was pretty cool. It's quite brutal, but for some reason it was just fun to watch. Although it's a very crazy concept. It's almost like a computer game where they have to get points for killing creatures like goblins and stuff. But anyway, cool character, looking pretty cool. He never takes off his helmet like the Mandalorian for some reason. And you can see already we are drawing in lots of details from the helmet. There are lots of openings like slits where he can see through. But what I'm drawing right here is an overall shape, and in there I will put all the slits. So I make sure that they are even enough so it looks good. And the slits on the left side, they are really thin because of the foreshortening. So take care of that as well. And then he has this kind of funny chin. It's standing out quite a bit, but it looks pretty cool. Looks a little bit like my beard, but in armor. I like it. What else is there? Yeah, this is just the whole thing gives you a lot of opportunity to fool around with some really cool patterns and extra details. I already do a little bit more details than there are on the original character, but like I said earlier, I will even go ahead and do more after that. I will go in with even more extra details, so the whole armor looks more like Dr. Rocker. And of course I have to pause a lot of the times and check the reference, because I still I want to stay true to the original, even though I am making my own thing here. Man, I'm rambling around. Sorry about that. It's a lot of work to do these videos, and then I have to sit down separately and talk over them and let you know all my thoughts. So sorry if I'm rumbling around a little bit sometimes, because English is not my first language, so not the easiest thing to do, but it's a good training to do stuff like that, because now I force myself to speak English with this YouTube channel, which is great experience, because I have kids now and I'm not really able to travel as much as I used to, and I traveled a lot, and there I had to speak English quite a lot, and I was way better a few years back in speaking English, but now it's slowly coming back with my YouTube videos. When you travel and you talk English all the time, then it feels like your first language after a while, but at home I can't speak English all the time. I do a little bit with the kids, but they need to learn German as well, of course, since we live in Austria. You can see I overdid the... what's it called? Collar. It's called collar. The collar from the Goblin Slayer isn't that big, but I overdid that because I think he looks pretty cool. Like a cool jacket from the 70s. I like that look. And I also did a way bigger chest armor, because it simply looks better. Well, at least on my watch, I like it. You might like the more original character, but it's not hard to do this one. You just need to take a look at some original artwork from the Goblin Slayer. You can still follow along with my tutorial and do him a little bit more as he is supposed to be. But no one really will notice, I guess. I dare say. It's pretty much down to the original. And there are some different artworks from the Goblin Slayer, even original artworks that look a little bit different. So that's how it is with these characters. Yeah, and you can see I'm really trying to put in a lot of details, because this armor is living off the details. Even though it's an anime series, there are a lot of details in the show on the character, which is pretty cool. It's still drawn very simple, but for an anime character, I think he has an extra lot of details on his armor. Yeah, and since I'm drawing this in my style, with a lot of details and very fine thin lines, you will see later on when I do the inking, because I will ink this later. It's a lot of fun for me, and that's actually the first anime character I'm drawing in my style. So if you would like me to draw another one, just let me know down in the comments, because I really enjoy anime and manga characters, and with this kind of new found or new polished style I'm using at the moment, it's a total fresh thing for me to draw characters I might have already drawn. So let me know down in the comments. Yeah, and please leave a like if you like the video. That would help me out a lot, of course. Always good to have something going on your YouTube channel. What I'm drawing right here is the fur. He has a little bit of fur, yeah, in the neck area. Very important part, otherwise it wouldn't look as much as the Goblin Slayer. So don't leave that out. Of course, I'm cleaning up again. And you can see I'm doing this layer after layer. First I was drawing the neck, then I was drawing the collar, so I had to clean up the neck. Now I drew in the fur and I had to clean up the collar again, so that's the way it goes. But it looks pretty cool. I think it looks very Goblin Slayer-ish already. If you know the character, you will recognize him already. And by the way, the first part where I do all the pencil drawings and the details will be in real time, and then we will speed up everything a little bit for the changes, for my personal changes I will do on the character, and I will also speed up quite a bit on the inking part, because that's a quite detailed drawing, and what's most important for you to draw along is this part. So this is in real time, and I will try and give you as many tips and tricks as possible. And then with the inking, you can watch and learn a lot from just watching watching me doing the inks, and you don't have to see that in real time, I dare say. Might be a little bit boring. That's what I thought when I do the whole thing in real time. And I don't want to only do very long videos, but still, sorry, but still, as I'm asking in a lot of my videos lately, please let me know down in the comment section if you would like more total real-time videos, or if you prefer the videos where I mix it up, like this one, the most important parts in real time and then switching to fast forward. Or do you like the speed versions more of the videos, where video only takes like 10 minutes and you see the whole drawing? Let me know down in the comments, please. This is the armor from the hand, from the arm. I always say hand when I mean arm, because in German, just explanation, in German it's the same thing. We say hand and we mean the arm, actually. So that's a bit of a bummer. At least in Lower Austria we talk like that. Okay, the chin part again. A little bit more details right there. And yeah, what's very important when you draw something like that, just make sure to take a look from afar every now and then, and when you are drawing in a specific area, stop there and change to another area and draw there for a while, and then go back to the area you have been drawing before, because then you get a fresh new set of eyes on the special area, which might help a lot. There are a lot of breastplates right there, which is necessary so he can move, so you would need more plates like that. And it's also looking pretty cool, I think. Would also be cool to draw a Batman in this kind of style with all these plates. Could look nice. Man, if I would have more time to draw. There's so many ideas. But you know how it is at Dr. Rocker's. Lots to do. At the moment we also actually have a construction site. We are building a round pen for the horses, so my wife can ride her horses next to our house. But we are already almost done, so this will get easier. And you can see I didn't find the middle right there. He has a bit of a weird belt with an X in the middle, like the X-Man. And yeah, then I saw I had to define the middle first, and now I guess I'm right. Yeah, now it looks better. Sorry, I have been too much outside with all the construction things we have going on, which means with all the pollen that are out there, I'm allergic to all the grass pollen, so I'm sounding a little bit like I have a cold, but I guess it's just the pollen. So sorry about that. These are some small bags on his belt, like a utility belt, like our superheroes. So nothing new there. I guess we all have drawn enough of those. But they're always fine to draw because they mix up the drawing quite beautifully. It's not just anatomy, but some extra stuff in there. And this is the belt from the X-Men, the X belt from the Goblin Slayer. Yeah, and before I was talking about our construction site, it's not just this one. We are also redoing a little bit in one of the sheds from the horses. We have to do a proper floor, which is also quite some work. But like I said, we are almost done with all these projects. So I am back to tattooing, doing my YouTube videos, and I'm working, as you might know, on a book. There will be a book where I do the whole interior art, which is very exciting, and I will keep you posted all the time about that once it's a little bit further done. But that might even take a little bit longer than I thought, because I'm doing this next to all the other stuff that's going on here. But you will hear a lot of it because it's a big project of mine. Okay, what are we drawing right here? Oh yes, he has like a broad girdle underneath the belt, which is also looking cool, but it's a bit of a pain to draw. And I told you have to draw through the face before with the sword, and you should do it similar here, even though it's just a small break of the line because of the belts. If you're not drawing through it, just do like you're drawing through it. You can just use almost next to no pressure and draw the line, so the line is actually really where it should be. The trousers are a bit foldy, lots of folds, and if you're interested in folds, you can check out my how to bring your comic book drawing to the next level video. That's where I show you how to draw veins and folds, and I dare say I did a good job, and the folds you are seeing right there, they will be very good explained on that one as well. Now we will take care of the armor on the legs. He doesn't have just metal legs like a lot of knights do have, but on his thighs he has these metal parts we are drawing in right now, and they are also a little bit like the chest plates in plate forms, so he could move, so that totally makes sense. And they look cool. He also has some kneecap armor and also some on the lower legs. But you will see that in a second. And yeah, just do a lot of belts holding all these armor parts, because they make for some cool extra details. And behind that there are these trousers, just folded trousers. And here you can see I'm measuring the metal parts from the thighs, so they will match up to the other leg. And yeah, you also have to define the middle. Just a simple line, and that's help enough. And then just go ahead and draw along, and make sure to check on the other side all the time, because it's okay when you're not totally on point with the original reference, because it's your drawing and you can do whatever the heck you want. But once you've drawn in one side of an armor part, you should make sure that the other side looks the same. So also here is the knee pads. Once you have made a decision, you should stick to it. I mean, you could go ahead and do it a bit differently, but when you do that, you should do it like totally different, one leg to the other, because when there's just a small difference, it would just look like a mistake, and we don't want that. And the same thing goes on the lower leg. There's also these similar patterns to the upper leg, where he has this shield to protect himself from bites and sword hits from the goblins. And here we also do some belt parts, so we see where the plates are attached to the leg, and some trousers in the back. Okay, I guess that's the most important thing about the legs. Everything's here, which means we can move on to the left arm. Left arm is very important because it's pretty cool. We have to try and find a way to draw the left shoulder plates. This is a little bit harder to do because we are... Oh, wait a second, Lawrence wants to come in. I'm working, Lawrence! I'll be right there in a second. Sorry, Lawrence wants to say hi, but we have to get work done. Okay, I was talking about the shoulder plates. Yeah, the the left arm is in another angle than the right one, so you have to make sure that this one bends the right way. But there's not much of it to be seen, so no worries if you have some trouble. It won't show too much. What I like to do, but this is a style choice, you don't have to, with these belts I'm drawing in some extra belt buckles and stuff like that, because I like the details where I can use all my parallel lines for that. It looks pretty cool. That's where I'm drawing in the shield, and sometimes I'm able to get a pretty cool circle done, but the best way would be to use one of these tools. So that's how it should be done actually, because it's really straight, the shield. It's not in an angle. It's looking straight towards us. And yeah, I just did some help lines as well. The sword, I'm also already drawing a little bit more detailed than the one from the show, but you can stick more to the original if you like. But I think it looks way better like that. Yeah, and it's really a good idea to use a ruler when drawing swords, because at least the first part should be straight lines, and when you ink it you can go over the line without a ruler, because you might want to have a very organic look. I do, at least. So depends on whatever you like. The sword is a little bit bigger than the original, and I will make it even bigger for my own taste later on. But again, you can do whatever you like. Don't be a slave to the reference, in this case especially. Cleaning up again, of course, so we can see everything properly, and it looks a little bit like in a weird angle now, the sword and the hilt, but that might be a little bit of a confusion because the camera is not pointing directly from above. I use a bit of an angle so you can see where the pencil hits the paper. I think that's very important. The ribbon I'm drawing right here is also a small ribbon like he has on the original drawing, but you will see in a second. I will get rid of it again because now, and I'm speeding this part up a bit because otherwise this video will take ages. Now I'm doing some exaggerations. I like, you can see, bigger ribbon. I like to say I rock things up with this one. I want to go more Dr. Rocker style with a lot of stuff like this. So I'm doing more details, more jagged lines here and there, and I go bigger with some things. For example, the sword and the ribbons, as you have already seen. And then I put in some extra details here and there, some extra lines, because I think it looks cooler when there's more details to be seen. And I decided to go ahead and draw the muscles of the arm, because the original Goblin Slayer doesn't show any skin, but mine does, because I think that looks pretty badass, and that's the only reason I did that. Usually he's wearing clothes underneath these armor parts. And you can see I also draw in some extra more belt buckles, and usually he has just dots where I'm drawing the little skulls here, but hey, it's a Dr. Rocker Goblin Slayer, so let's go for some skulls. And some extra belts again. Some double lines always help. You can do double lines so the whole drawing will look a little bit more alive. And also here, yeah, some extra belt buckles and some veins, because we are showing skin, so He's supposed to have some veins. And I'm drawing in, to be honest, real quick. So, a little bit of a monster, a goblin or whatever. Just to have a little bit of a foreground. I didn't take too much time for that one. You know how it is. Time is of the essence. What I really want you to show is how to draw the Goblin Slayer, and that I did. You can do a monster, you can do nothing. You can go ahead and draw some rocks if you want to save some time. But in my case, I wanted to draw a really bloody goblin or a monster or whatever it is, because first of all, the pose indicates that he's looking down to something he just slew, and the Goblin Slayer, yeah, that's something extra I did. I did a G and a S for Goblin Slayer, just for fun. And I also wanted to have a little bit more of gore in the drawing, because it's the Goblin Slayer and it's a very gory, wild and brutal TV show, so that's that. Also drew in some rocks in the background and some blood on the sword, so you know he just did that. Okay, and here I'm drawing in my famous Dr. Rocket details and some folds. I don't show everything now because that would be too much for this video. And here I already starting the inking process. I'm using a Tombow brush pen. In this case it's the blue one, the harder one. He's easier to control. The green one, sometimes I like to use the green one more because he's very soft, but it depends on what I'm drawing. When I want to be sure that the lines are not too thick by accident, then I like the blue one, because the green one is a little bit softer and therefore harder to control for these. You can see a lot of blood. He's really messed up bad, in a bad way. And I really did very quick line work and hatching work on this one, because first of all the time is the issue, and I also wanted to warm up for the Goblin Slayer. That's why I did the foreground first. I would recommend you to do that as well when you draw a foreground or a background. Background is hard because actually you should draw everything first where the line hits the other one, because otherwise you would have to try and find where the next line will be. I hope you can follow along with all what I'm saying here, but I guess you do. Yeah, and so the foreground should be drawn in first anyway, but I could have gone ahead and hatch the Goblin Slayer first, but I really wanted to warm up for my hatching, because the Goblin Slayer is the main and most important part of this drawing, so it's always nice to be warmed up when doing the really fun and important parts. Okay, you can see I'm using different inking tools. For the big black areas I'm using a brush pen from Pentel, and the smallest areas, for those I'm using the smallest Micron pen I possess, and I think it's even the smallest there is. It's a 003 fine liner from Micron. You can also use a 01 for the whole drawing and be extra careful how hard you press, but it's easier and for some shadings necessary to use a really fine one if you want to achieve a look like that. But that's a style choice, of course. I could have broken up the lines from the fur a little bit more, but I didn't. Sometimes I have to try to remove the stick from my bum, and I don't know, I need to get loose a little bit more. I'm too tight sometimes. But I'm working on that, and yeah, it's not bad to be tight when drawing, but for my taste, I think sometimes I'm a little bit too tight. Yeah, you can see this is pretty much just, yeah, I'm doing some hatching here and there, but pretty much just tracing all the lines, and I'm trying not to go too thick with all the lines, and use a little bit of line weight, go from thick to thin. Towards the light source we go thinner. I broke up the lines from the shield very nicely, and I'm using, it's either a 005 or a 003 for the muscles. And you can see I'm only using very thin lines and not too much of those to hatch all the areas where there's blank skin. And this way it stays very light, because I want the skin to be the lightest part of the drawing. With a 005 I'm using right there, you can actually draw quite big, quite fat lines actually, because he's got a very soft tip. So if you use it in the right angle or press hard enough, you will be able to produce very nice line weight even with a small pen like this. Also the 01 has great abilities in this direction. From the 02 upwards, it's getting a little bit harder to do line weight with pressure, but down there it's working pretty nicely. If you're using a 003, which is the smallest one, there it's a bit different, because when you have him used up a little bit, so when you've drawn a lot with this one, it will become a very hard tip, which is very easy to use, but not really good for line weight anymore. So it's very nice to have some old pens. Don't throw them away if they are getting bad. You might love the look you can create with old pens here and there. So make sure to keep those. Even though you are not drawing with them at the moment, maybe your style will change, or you just want to try different stuff, or you want to do different patterns, and then you're like, oh man, that would have worked greatly with this old pen. So stick to your pens. They don't need a lot of room. Of course, at some point they are empty or you can't use them anymore, but mostly you can use them for quite a long time. And of course, what I always like to hear from you guys, do you like the style? Especially my new style I'm working right here, because that's pretty much the style I was working on a lot for the last couple of months. So trying to get all of the style choices together, I like to come up with this one. So please let me know down in the comments if you like this one. And here you can see the Dr. Rocket details, but with a very hard glance from above, because the light source is coming from above. And I really like the look I got with this one, because you can see the Dr. Rocket details in the armor, but in a more three-dimensional way, because I kinda only drew the shadows of like a negative space drawing of the Dr. Rocket details. And you can see I did my normal Dr. Rocket details on the sword, because they look cool. And here we go. Rocket 2022. But then I decided I will use some alcohol-based markers to do the foreground in gray tones, just to try it out and get more attention on the Goblin Slayer.
And I guess I'm done. It was a lot of fun to experiment a little bit more with my new style. I really like all those little details and stuff like that. Let me know down in the comments if you like this Goblin Slayer. And this is already pretty much it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate that. And don't forget to draw every day, that's so important. Find your style do your own thing, and at the same time try out lots of stuff from different artists. And now I want you to go and watch this video. In this video I show you how to draw the Moonlight from David Finch. That's a really cool drawing. David is such a great artist, so you will have fun to redrawing this as well. Have a great time. Don't forget to tune in next week for the next video, and also see you there, my friends. Thank you.